Good afternoon. Today, I'm honored to be joined by an exceptional guest and a long-time friend from Italy, Massimo Mondazzi. Massimo brings a wealth of experience, having served as CFO and CEO at Eni, a global powerhouse with annual revenues in excess of 90 billion euros. Massimo has played a pivotal role in his career in various high-profile M&A transactions, and very much looking forward to the discussion. Massimo, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Clive.
Before we dive into the discussion, I would just like to share a few key points with the audience on why this topic is so relevant. 4 points. 1, the deal market is huge. Alone in Germany, we're talking about a transaction market of 100 billion per year, and that's based on FY24. So if how big is that? That's about 5% of the combined value of the DAX 40 companies. So it's hugely important from a value creation perspective. Point 2, synergies are often used for buyers to justify the deal valuations, with studies showing that it's not uncommon for sellers to receive 50 to 70% of the synergies upfront. Despite this large proportion of synergies being paid upfront, it's very challenging to achieve synergies and deal valuations or deal value. Our reports inside show that close to 70% of all deals fail to meet original deal expectations. This is due to integration complexities, cultural challenges, but also very often linked to overly optimistic assumptions. The 4th point relates to goodwill and regulatory scrutiny. If you have a look at the balance sheet data for the DAX 40 companies, it gives you a goodwill to equity ratio of about 34%. Now that's double of what the global average is of 18%. This highlights the significant premiums being paid for synergies and intangible assets. Meanwhile, regulatory frameworks such as the IFRS 3 are developing quickly, and there's a push for more transparency on synergies in terms of actually quantifying synergy and disclosure. Some countries within the EU, Italy being a prime example, have taken a pivotal role and are setting a precedent also for Germany in terms of where they are along the road. So really excited to have somebody, a rock star from Italy, to talk with. So let's jump into the discussion, Massimo. The first question, you were the CFO and later CEO at Eni during the pivotal transformation strategy project in 2019. What role was M&A expected to play as part of the transformation from an oil major to an energy tech company?
Yeah. So thank you very much, Clive. And first of all, you mentioned some very impressive numbers. Maybe we will have the opportunity to comment some of them while talking about, through our short discussion. Sure, in 2019, Eni decided to take its first medium-long-term plan, so a new wave of strategy in line with the new opportunity in the market and challenging in the market. So Eni did this exercise together with the other peers. And the exercise was about all the businesses and design a significant change in all these businesses. So talking about the upstream, the matter was how to make the upstream more resilient. What does it mean more resilient? It means to lower down further and further the break-even price, so the Brent break-even price, the gas prices break-even. So this was the topic. In retail, a huge target to increase by 50%, 5 million of clients, the number of clients by 2030. In renewable, starting from scratch, 15 gigawatt in place by 2030, addressing new technologies such as the carbon capture, for example. So you understand very different businesses, and the target were huge in terms of quantity. So by definition, there was room for organic actions, so developing industrially, internally, all this, together with M&A. So by definition, since the inception, it was clear that M&A would have been a significant lever in both senses, in both ways. So in and out, in buying and selling things. And the point was how to develop, how to get prepared to do it.
Fantastic. Interesting. So fascinating business with lots of different areas, components. Massimo, what was the most challenging aspect for you in terms of valuing synergies, particularly given the complexity of the oil and gas market and the retail business, for example?
The challenges were many because the businesses in portfolio are so different and each of them have its own criticality. So talking about the upstream, by definition, mostly the exploration, for example, it means to sell and buy licenses even without anything over the ground. So just underground, just maybe 3D seismic that could have been seen in a laptop. So paying significant amount of money in and out. Talking about this definitely is a challenge. It's a technical challenge. It's a scenario challenge. Talking about clients is a matter of, I would say, churn. So the capacity to retain clients, how to attract clients, how to scale up the number of services to the clients and so forth. Renewables, are mostly subsidized for the first years. But what about, I would say, the end of subsidies that normally is after 10, 15 years? And we knew and we know, everyone knows that the greatest part of the internal rate of return is created at that stage, so after the subsidy period. So how figure out such a projection in the long term? This definitely was crucial. And in doing this exercise, we understood very well that creating a clear rule, inside rule, in order to manage these uncertainties was critical and was the best. Everyone in each organization in similar situation will claim that considering the magnitude of the specific asset, considering the criticality of a specific acquisition, this asset, this company would require a specific scenario. It would be definitely wrong. There is no a different scenario that could be applied to different assets. And this is for all businesses, not only for the oil and gas, not only for energy. And this is as well for the weighted average cost of capital. There is no a less riskier asset that deserve a less weighted average cost of capital. That remain the same. In any case, the lower risk could be, I would say, represented in an appropriate way in the cash flow of the asset that are under evaluation. And this definitely has been, I would say, a golden rule that I strongly recommend.
So you had one structure for all the different business units.
Exactly. Or I would say the most important parameters were set before approaching this, I would say, campaign in terms of acquisition or selling.
I think that's an important point because you prepared so you know what you want to buy before you get into it.
This is to avoid, I would say, useless discussion because otherwise, I would say, there would, anytime there would be a discussion about this topic that play a significant portion of the overall evaluation. But we know very well, we knew at the time, and even approaching M&A activity these days, one of the critical points is I would say, the utmost uncertainty. How volatile is the environment? So I just said that projecting long-term scenarios is crucial, but I would say probably no long-term scenarios haven't ever been proved as successful. All of them failed. So the point is, which are the levers for the company in order to counteract some way such a volatility that we say, something that you have to cope with. So there is no alternative on this respect.
So how did you personally, as the CEO, get comfortable with the business plans, with the assumptions?
Okay, you can provide sensitivity, you can measure exactly when in time the additional value will be created, the longer the period, and the worse will be, certainly, because this increases enormously the level of uncertainty. But I experience and I can recommend a golden rule, again, on this respect, that is the governance. So you don't know exactly what's is happening in the future. So the best way to counteract any kind of headwind that could happen, and headwinds we know happen very, very, very oftenly, is to maintain a sort of control over the asset that you are partially selling or partially buying. So retaining governance means that you will be in the position, in case of an headwind, to drive the future decision and counteract something that would have been totally negative. So this is really crucial. Means to retain some.
I think that's a really important point, which I'd like to dive into a little bit deeper.
Okay.
But if we look at the pre-deal, so developing the synergy plans, how did you get comfortable that the plans were operationally solid, that they were validated to the best?
Okay, so what I learned, first of all, is don't let the investment bankers do your work. So mostly, maybe because an asserted confidentiality, and there could be definitely a confidentiality matter in place, because maybe you are buying or selling listed assets, listed companies, so definitely something that you must be very careful about. But it doesn't mean that no one inside should be informed and should contribute. And certainly involve people in your organization that would be responsible for the deployment of these synergies after the completion date would be of paramount importance. Because anyway, if the investment bankers provide a number for you, certainly this number could be helpful because it will give you the sense of what the peers are doing, the perception from the market. But in terms of realization, certainly it would be a tough job. Mm-hmm. How to reduce and increase the possibility to get exactly what you are projecting in paying a price. You mentioned 50, 70% of the synergies paid into the price. The best way to do it is to involve people since the beginning that will be in charge to implement it. And maybe link also some performance measure, performance scheme to this in order to increase the possibility of success.
I think it's a really good point. So have people who are going to deliver the synergies involved in the deal phase. Massimo, if we could switch to another topic. You acquire the business, so you're acquiring a new management team. How did you go about making sure that there's buy-in for the synergies that ultimately they also need to deliver on?
Oh, this is also a great point, Clive, because sometimes retaining some people from the acquired company is crucial. It happens when you are entering a new geography, and so you don't know exactly the rule, you don't have the right connection, you don't know the authorization pathways and so forth. Or maybe you are entering a new technology, so you don't control the technology, and you must have control in order to implement the results that are expected. So retaining some of the people, a selected number of people from the acquired company is crucial. It's crucial, but I would say it's difficult. Proved by personal experience, sometimes we fail in getting this, because maybe sometimes you pay attention to one of the aspects, maybe the salary, the retention, and not the other. So combining all this and the motivation is crucial.
I've just seen that we've run over time. It's such an interesting discussion. Do I have 1 minute to wrap up?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I think we could go on for ages, and thank you, Massimo, for a great discussion. If I could wrap up briefly with 5 points, key takeaways. Embed integration early into a strategic phase. Number 2, set ambitious but realistic targets. Number 3, bridge the gap between pre and post deal. Number 4, make synergy realization a key priority. Give it management attention, budget. Number 5, stay agile and continuously monitor progress. And the most important point that I'd like everybody to take with, If you're faced with a synergy question, topic, or business transformation related to integration, give KPMG a call. We're here to help you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maziman.
Right, Massimo and Clive, thanks for being here today.